Hello everybody again, it's Kingfish here. Hope everybody's safe at this time. This video is going to talk about cameras and what I use and how I mount them. So from start, when I first started recording, this is just a bog standard Hero from back in the day. Still got it, still runs, still works. It's got a self-contained battery. It'd only take a 32 gig SD card, but it was absolutely fantastic to start with. And this is now my spare. So if you're starting off, just get a cheap and cheerful one just to see if you like it before you really start going into it, because at the end of the day we are on a paintball field and these things get hit, so if they break they are expensive to replace. Right then, the next one I upgraded to was a Hero Black 5. Now this thing is amazing, massive step forward compared to the last one. Brilliant picture quality, brilliant stability on the camera. So this is now my reverse camera on my 468, so this thing is now looking back at me. What I'm recording this on is my Hero Black 7, which is now my main camera on my mask, which is from the 5 to the 7. There is a slight difference in picture quality and a slight difference in the hardware and the software that's in it. It's barely noticeable if you're really looking for it. So you know, you could even start off with the 5. They're still selling these brand new, about 150 quid I think, roughly, in and around there. I keep these cameras running at 1080p 60 frames a second, because that makes my 64 gig SD cards last 2 hours, and it helps the battery last longer as well, so the GoPro isn't chewing through batteries. I do have 4 GoPro batteries. They're all marked up just for ease, so I know which ones I've used and which ones I haven't used. So they basically go from 1 to 4. Obviously 1 and 2 are the morning batteries, 3 and 4 are the afternoon batteries. And then SD cards. A little tip for SD cards: keep them all in a nice safe case. Don't go for the cheap ones, go for the extreme ones, because I have found with the cheap ones sometimes the SD card has trouble reading the data from the GoPro, or the GoPro has trouble getting the data onto the SD card, whichever way you want to phrase it. So yeah, go for the really good quality SD cards. Right, Runcams and shot track cams. Started off with this when I figured out that you couldn't see who the hell you were shooting at with a GoPro. So this thing is a shot track cam. As you can see, it's absolutely battered, broken to bruised. It's just mashed, this thing. Top tip: try and keep these things as close to the magwell as you possibly can. You are less likely to rip them off your marker. If they did a upgraded version of this, I'd be all over it like a rash, because it's really light, really compact. It's good quality pictures. Not as good as the new Runcam I am using, but if they did an upgraded version of this, I would be all over it, because the size difference and what I have to carry to make this thing work. So this has a 35mm lens in it, which is great for capturing long distance shots. The problem with it is it absolutely eats batteries. So there's a tiny little battery just in the back, so it's probably just a little bit smaller than the GoPro battery, which is just there. That battery would last about an hour. I bought 4 batteries thinking that would be the best way around it. It was not. So what I do now is I actually mount it with a power brick. So this thing and that are near enough attached together on the marker, so obviously it adds a hell of a lot of weight to your marker compared to the previous shot track camera, which is really light. But this thing has taken numerous hits. I've dropped the marker on the floor quite a few times, and the thing just keeps on running because it's metal. And as you can see, there's a real big bruise there. That was a massive drop, which I thought I'd bust the camera on, but it is working like a treat. Right, go on to some spares. Keep these bad boys. You get them free with your GoPros. Keep them, because you break them like this one has. I'll be gluing this one back together so it's up and running, and it'll be, you know, it's just another spare that you've got. What I find as well, for keeping your GoPros in, I'm at this time of my life where I've got little rugrats running around. So, little socks. Just put your GoPro in the sock and you know it's protecting the lens. So it's just a way, nice, neat, and you can stack it all on top of each other. So I put all my GoPros just in socks so you know where they are. It's pink, it stands out like a sore thumb, so you know you got them basically. Little tip there, to keep them in socks, absolutely fantastic. Right, let's go on to how I mount them to my 468 and my mask. So right then, let's go on how I mount it to my marker. So first lesson I learned was, I started off with, and I've got an assault rifle 468 which has a 12-inch handguard on it. So I was mounting everything quite far out front on the main part of the gun, and I was knocking the old shot track camera off left, right and centre. So the first lesson I learned was actually try and bring everything as far up as you can to the mag well, so it's in the region of where you're grabbing it with your hand, because then you're going to think to yourself, you're always going to remind yourself, hand, camera, you're not going to be smacking it into anything. So you're not spending any extra money on, you know, you're having to buy another camera. Right, the reverse camera, which is now my Hero Black 5, is absolutely great. Adds another little angle of footage to your filming, basically. Just gives you that little bit extra. You get a lot more footage out of this than obviously your shot track or your Runcam. You know, you could have this running all the way through your film if you wanted to, with your mask camera. The mount is a fully metal mount. I think I spent 15 quid on it, and I painted it, and it's absolutely sturdy as hell. I've knocked it a few times. Protects the camera mainly, but on this side, yeah, great. How I hold it on to the actual mount onto the gun or onto the 468 is this is basically the free plastic mount that came with my Hero Black 7. Once this breaks, I will probably go to a full metal case just to give it more protection. I'll add a little bit more weight to the marker, but at the end of the day, it's 468. It weighs quite a bit anyway. So right then, the Runcam, I sit it on the side of my marker, just so it's out of the way of my scope. Because if I sit it on top, it's just going to be in the field of view of my scope, and I don't want it interrupting my field of view from there at all. I don't want anything interrupting that. It actually, I found where it is, it actually gives me quite a good angle on long balling, so it's not so much of a struggle. I am going to probably find something that just tilts the camera down just a little bit more on those extreme long balls, but this marker doesn't let me go that far anyway, because it's got such a stubby barrel. I've designed it for CQB only, and to be honest, I'm using it all the time. I barely touch my assault rifle anymore, but the assault rifle, I can get another 10-15 meters out of it. But as I said, I prefer this. It's just a quick draw. So I obviously mounted a little power brick for the camera. As I said in the previous bit of the video, it absolutely chews battery, so this thing is constantly charging the camera. Now this is just basically a torch mount. It's an offset torch mount, so I can still see down my my sight without any interruption in the field of view. Obviously, I've got a tiny little cable coming in. I'm trying to find a shorter one, to be honest, so it just loops straight in, so it isn't dangling as much as this one. So that is practically how I mount my cameras to my 468. Right. Let's go on to my mask. Right, let's talk about how I fit it to my mask. There is a new bracket that you can get from most paintballing shops. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I'll put it in the description. It's so easy to fit. You know, get it. It's amazing. I keep it in a metal case. It's got its own protective metal case, so if it takes a hit, it looks at, you know, it's going to look after itself. I've had plenty of hits in the lens and it's never broken yet. There's obviously that off chance it might break, but with my Hero 7 black that I put in this one, you can take the lens out and buy replacements, which I'm not too fussed about. The other reason why it's up high, it protects my head from somebody giving me, obviously, a headshot. If it just misses the mask and it's going to be a square on shot, this will take the hit. Instead of your forehead taking the hit and you're getting a massive welt on your forehead and feeling dazed, this just stops it. You know, obviously somebody could shoot you in the side of the head, but I've found that doesn't hurt as much as a straight shot. So I hope this has helped you with how you want to do your videoing, and I hope everybody's safe. I will be doing that technical video on my loadout box that I've been meaning to do for a while. And I shall catch you all later.